There's a man who believes in America, not just as a great idea, but as an actual place. That man's name is Joe the Plumber, and he's a plumber named Joe. Joe the Plumber has a plan.
I'd like to get certified as a plumber. Is that what a plumber gets? Certified?
Joe the Plumber dislikes taxes so much, he hasn't paid them for the last 2 years.
Alimony neither.
Joe the Plumber isn't a slave to any political party. In fact, he's voted against his own self-interests in at least 2 state and 1 federal election.
Licensed. I need to get licensed as a plumber.
America, isn't it time for Joe? Joe the Plumber, a real American for an American America.
I'm Joe the Plumber, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to bring attention to Joe the Plumber, not affiliated with any actual plumbers.
We've all been hearing a lot about this Joe the Plumber character, which means we've been hearing a lot less about Joe Sixpack. But Joe Sixpack is here first. Let me put that another way. Joe Sixpack has been around a lot longer than Joe the Plumber, who may or may not even be a real plumber, and whose name, incidentally, is Samuel. Joe Sixpack remembers a simpler time, when a man wasn't defined by what he did for a living, but by what he drank. Does anybody even know what Joe the Plumber drinks? Anybody? Probably wine, right? White wine, yeah. Joe Sixpack cares about what really matters to most Americans. Lower taxes, less government interference, except when it comes to gay marriage and a woman's right to choose. And six-packs. Also flags. I'm Joe Sixpack, and I made this. Paid for out of Joe's beer money.
Joe the Plumber may not be a real plumber, but at least he's a real guy. Always has been, always will be.
Can Joe Sixpack say that? I don't think so.
Joe the Plumber has drunk way more six-packs than Joe Sixpack has fixed sinks. Plus, he may become a plumber. And for the record, Joe likes whiskey.
And strippers. Don't forget strippers.
Not only is Joe Sixpack not a real man, he may actually be an interdimensional shadow being whose very presence here could trigger a cosmic chain reaction, resulting in our entire reality being sucked into a dark vortex.
And that's a chance we can't afford to take.
Joe the Plumber, real guy, likes strippers, won't destroy us. Paid for with money that probably should have gone to Joe's ex.
Joe Sixpack may be imaginary, but Joe Sixpack shouldn't have to remind you that imaginary Americans are the goddamn backbone of this country. Where the hell would we be without mythical super patriots like Johnny Appleseed, Snake Plissken, and Ronald Reagan? You want to know who Joe Sixpack is, buddy? Joe Sixpack is anybody who sat down on their couch, popped open a cold six-pack, watched WWE Friday Night SmackDown, passed out, pissed themselves, and blamed it on the dog. I'm Joe Sixpack, and fuck Joe the Plumber. Paid for by fucking me, you fucker.
Joe the Plumber knows that Johnny Appleseed was also a real guy.
Real name, John Chapman. Kind of a tree hugger, great American. Google it, brother.
I'm Joe Sixpack, and I have a message for Joe the Plumber. Joe the Plumber. Joe the Dumber. Ass. I'm Joe the Plumber. I'm a big fat dumb gay wad. Unlike some people, job-having guy, I have a wife.
Joe the Plumber is such a real man, he's been sleeping with Mrs. Pack for about 2 years.
It's true.
I'm Joe Sixpack, and I do not approve of this! I'm coming for you, man!
Paid for by the committee to distract you from whatever the hell is really going on.
Oh, calm down, Joe. It's just sex.